Most people spend their entire lives protecting their money, protecting their reputation, protecting their possessions, and protecting their comfort, yet they leave the most valuable thing they own completely unguarded. They leave their minds exposed to every opinion, every insult, every criticism, and every distraction that enters their lives. The Stoics understood a truth that remains just as powerful today as it was thousands of years ago. If you do not protect your mind, someone else will control it. If you do not choose your thoughts carefully, the world will choose them for you. If you do not master your emotions will master you. This is why the Stoics placed such importance on mental discipline. They knew that a person who controls his mind cannot be controlled by circumstances, by fear, or by the opinions of others. Think about how many times your mood has changed because of something someone said. A single comment ruined your day. A criticism stayed in your head for hours. An insult replayed itself over and over in your mind. Someone ignored you and suddenly you felt rejected. Someone disagreed with you, and suddenly you felt angry. In those moments, who was in control? It was not you. Your emotional state was being determined by forces outside yourself. The Stoics believed this was one of the greatest dangers a person could face. Not poverty, not failure, not hardship, but the inability to govern one's own mind. The philosopher Epictetus was born a slave. He experienced hardship that most people cannot imagine. Yet he taught that true freedom comes from understanding what is within your control and what is not according to him. Your opinions, your judgments, your actions, and your responses belong to you. Everything else belongs to the world. The weather does not belong to you. Other people's opinions do not belong to you. The past does not belong to you. The future does not belong to you. When you stop trying to control what does not belong to you, you gain power over what does. Imagine waking up each day without needing approval from anyone. Imagine being able to hear criticism without feeling destroyed. Imagine facing setbacks without panic. Imagine remaining calm while everyone around you loses control. This is not a fantasy. This is the result of training the mind. The Stoics did not become strong because life was easy. They became strong because they practiced mental discipline. Every single day, one of the greatest mistakes people make is believing that thoughts are facts. A negative thought appears in the mind, and they immediately believe it. A fear enters the mind, and they treat it as reality. A doubt appears, and they surrender to it. But the Stoics taught that thoughts should be examined before they are accepted. Just because a thought enters your mind does not mean it deserves your trust. Many thoughts are simply habits. Many are fears, many are illusions. Wisdom begins when you stop believing everything your mind tells you. Consider how often people create suffering for themselves. Through imagination, they worry about conversations that have not happened. They fear outcomes that may never occur. They replay mistakes that cannot be changed. They create disasters in their minds, and then suffer as if those disasters are real. The Stoics recognized this tendency and warned against it. They understood that most suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our judgments about events. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and a Roman emperor, faced immense pressure throughout his life. He dealt with wars, political conflicts, betrayals, disease, and countless responsibilities, yet he repeatedly reminded himself that external events cannot harm the mind, unless the mind allows them to. He understood that peace is not found in perfect circumstances. Peace is found in the ability to remain steady, despite imperfect circumstances. When someone insults you, what actually happens? Words enter your ears. That is all the suffering begins. When you interpret those words as a threat to your worth, the Stoics would ask a simple question. Has your character changed because someone insulted you? Has your integrity disappeared? Has your wisdom been reduced? If the answer is no, then why allow another person's words to disturb your peace? This does not mean becoming emotionless. The Stoics were not teaching people to suppress feelings. They were teaching people to understand feelings. There is a difference. Suppression creates pressure. Understanding creates freedom. When anger arises, observe it. When fear appears, examine it. When sadness visits, learn from it. The goal is not to eliminate emotions, but to prevent them from controlling your actions. Many people live as prisoners of other people's opinions. They choose careers based on approval, They make decisions based on fear of criticism. They avoid opportunities because they worry about being judged. Their entire lives become a performance designed to satisfy others. The Stoics considered this a tragic way to live. They believe that a person who depends on approval will never experience true freedom. Ask yourself this question: how much of your life is being directed by the opinions of people who are not living your life? How many dreams have you postponed because of fear? How many opportunities have you avoided because someone might criticize you? The truth is that people will judge you no matter what you do. If you succeed, they will judge you. If you fail, they will judge you. If you remain silent, they will judge you. If you speak, they will judge you, since judgment is unavoidable. Why allow it to determine your choices? The Stoics understood that life becomes much lighter when you stop carrying unnecessary burdens. One of the heaviest burdens is the need to control things beyond your reach. People exhaust themselves trying to change others. They try to force respect. They try to force love. They try to force understanding. Yet none of these things can be controlled directly. What can be controlled is your behavior, your character, and your response. Mental strength is built in small moments. It is built when you resist the urge to react immediately. It is built when you remain calm during criticism. It is built when you continue forward despite fear. It is built when you choose reason over impulse. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to strengthen the mind. The modern world constantly competes for your attention. Social media advertisements, news, and endless distractions pull the mind in every direction. The Stoics would likely see this as one of the greatest threats to inner peace. A distracted mind is easily controlled. A focused mind is difficult to manipulate. This is why protecting your attention is one of the most important forms of self-defense. Every day ask yourself what deserves your attention. Does this problem deserve your energy? Does this argument deserve your time? Does this criticism deserve your focus? Not everything deserves access to your mind. One of the most powerful skills you can develop is the ability to choose where your attention goes. Your attention is your life. Wherever your attention goes, your experience follows. If your attention constantly focuses on problems, life feels overwhelming. If your attention constantly focuses on fear, life feels dangerous. If your attention constantly focuses on gratitude, life feels richer. The quality of your attention determines the quality of your experience. The Stoics practiced negative visualization. This means imagining the temporary loss of things they valued. Not to become pessimistic, but to become grateful. They understood that appreciation grows when we remember that nothing is guaranteed. Health is not guaranteed. Wealth is not guaranteed. Relationships are not guaranteed. Time is not guaranteed. When you remember this, you stop taking life for granted. Many people delay happiness. They tell themselves they will be happy when they earn more money, when they achieve success, when they find the perfect relationship, or when circumstances improve. The Stoics warned against this mindset. They understood that happiness cannot be postponed indefinitely. A person who cannot find peace today will struggle to find peace tomorrow. The mind becomes stronger when it learns to accept reality. Acceptance does not mean giving up. Acceptance means seeing things clearly. It means recognizing what is happening without denial. Once reality is accepted, intelligent action becomes possible. Resistance to reality creates suffering. Acceptance creates clarity. Fear often appears larger in the imagination than it does in reality. Many people spend years avoiding challenges because they are afraid of failure. Yet when they finally face those challenges, they discover that the fear was worse than the experience itself. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action despite fear. The Stoics admired courage because it allows people to act according to values rather than emotions. Every challenge contains a hidden opportunity. Every setback contains a lesson. Every obstacle contains a chance to develop strength. This perspective transforms adversity. Instead of asking why something happened to you, ask what it can teach you. Instead of asking why life is difficult, ask how difficulty can make you stronger. The Stoics believe that character is more valuable than comfort. Comfort feels good in the moment, but character serves you for a lifetime. Comfort avoids struggle. Character grows through struggle. Comfort seeks ease. Character seeks excellence. When faced with a choice between comfort and growth, the Stoics consistently chose growth. One day everyone will face loss. Everyone will experience disappointment. Everyone will encounter uncertainty. These experiences are part of being human. The question is not whether challenges will come. The question is whether your mind will be prepared when they arrive. A protected mind does not eliminate difficulty. It remains steady during difficulty. The strongest people are not those who never fall. They are those who rise after falling. They are those who continue after failure. They are those who remain faithful to their principles, even when circumstances become difficult. Strength is not measured by the absence of struggle. Strength is measured by how you respond to struggle. Remember this. Nobody can control your mind without your permission. They can influence you, they can challenge you, they can criticize you, but the final decision always belongs to you. You choose what thoughts to accept. You choose what emotions to nourish. You choose what beliefs to strengthen. You choose how to respond. The Stoics understood that true power begins inside, not in wealth, not in status, not in popularity. Real power is the ability to remain calm in chaos, focused in distraction, courageous in fear, and wise in uncertainty. When you develop this power, you become difficult to manipulate and impossible to defeat from within. Protect your mind because it is the source of every decision you make. Protect your mind because it shapes every experience you have. Protect your mind because your future depends on the thoughts you cultivate today. The world will always try to influence you. Challenges will always exist. Criticism will always appear, but a disciplined mind remains strong. A disciplined mind remains free, and a disciplined mind becomes a force that no obstacle, no circumstance, and no person can truly control. Every day you wake up with a choice. You can allow the world to shape your mind, or you can shape your mind before the world reaches it. Most people never realize how much influence they surrender. They wake up and immediately consume information. They check notifications, scroll through social media, react to headlines, and absorb the emotions of strangers before they have even taken a moment to think for themselves. By the time the day begins, their mental state has already been determined by external forces. The Stoics would see this as a dangerous habit, because the first battle of every day is the battle for your attention. Whoever controls your attention influences your thoughts. Whoever influences your thoughts influences your actions. And whoever influences your actions influences the direction of your life. Imagine your mind is a fortress. A wise ruler does not leave the gates open to anyone who wishes to enter. He chooses carefully who is allowed inside. Yet many people allow every opinion, every rumor, every criticism, and every distraction to enter their minds without question. Then they wonder why they feel anxious, angry, and exhausted. The Stoics taught that mental peace requires discipline. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every problem deserves your concern. Not every conflict deserves your involvement. Wisdom begins when you learn to guard the gates of your mind. One of the most powerful Stoic lessons is understanding that your peace is your responsibility. Many people believe their peace depends on other people behaving correctly. They think they can only be calm if everyone treats them fairly. They think they can only be happy if life goes according to plan. But life does not work that way. People will disappoint you. Circumstances will change. Unexpected difficulties will arise. If your peace depends on perfect conditions, you will spend your entire life waiting for something that never arrives. The Stoics discovered that peace is not something you find, it is something you create. It is created through discipline, perspective, and self-control. When you stop demanding that reality match your expectations, you free yourself from endless frustration. Reality becomes easier to handle. When you accept that uncertainty is part of life, think about a tree during a storm. The tree does not complain about the wind. It does not demand that the weather change. Instead, it develops strong roots because of those roots. It can withstand conditions that would destroy weaker trees. The Stoics believe the human mind should be trained in the same way. You cannot prevent every storm in life. You cannot prevent every disappointment, but you can develop the inner strength necessary to endure them. Many people misunderstand resilience. They think resilience means never feeling pain. In truth, resilience means continuing despite pain. It means refusing to let temporary, Emotions dictate permanent decisions. It means remembering that difficult moments are temporary, even when they feel overwhelming. Every strong person has faced moments of doubt. Every successful person has experienced failure. Every wise person has made mistakes. What separates them from others is not perfection. It is persistence. The Stoics often reminded themselves of the temporary nature of everything. Success is temporary, failure is temporary. Praise is temporary, criticism is temporary. Pleasure is temporary, pain is temporary. Understanding this truth creates balance. When good times arrive, enjoy them without becoming attached. When difficult times arrive, endure them without becoming discouraged. Everything passes. This awareness prevents arrogance during success and despair during hardship. One of the greatest sources of suffering is comparison. People compare their lives to others and conclude they are falling behind. They compare their appearance, income, achievements, and relationships. The result is dissatisfaction. The Stoics would ask a simple question: why measure your worth using someone else's journey? Every individual walks a different path. Comparing yourself to others distracts you from improving yourself. The only meaningful comparison is between who you were today and who you were yesterday. A person who constantly compares himself to others will never feel complete because there will always be someone richer, smarter, stronger, or more successful. But a person who focuses on self-improvement discovers a source of confidence that cannot be taken away. Confidence built on comparison is fragile. Confidence built on character is lasting. Another Stoic principle involves accepting responsibility for your life. This does not mean blaming yourself for everything that happens. It means recognizing your power to respond. Even when circumstances are unfair, your response remains your responsibility. Victimhood may explain suffering, but it does not create progress. Progress begins when you focus on what can be done, rather than what should have happened. The world often teaches people to seek comfort above all else. The Stoics taught something different. They believed growth often requires discomfort. Muscles grow through resistance. Skills grow through practice. Character grows through challenges. A life dedicated only to comfort eventually becomes weak. A life willing to embrace difficulty develops strength. Consider the people you admire most. They probably faced obstacles. They probably experienced failures. They probably endured moments when giving up would have been easier. Their strength was forged through adversity, without challenges. Many of the qualities we respect most would never develop. Fear is another force that frequently controls people. Fear of rejection, fear of embarrassment, fear of failure, fear of uncertainty. Fear convinces people to remain where they are, even when they know they should move forward. The Stoics understood that fear often exaggerates danger. The mind imagines worst-case scenarios and treats them as inevitable. Yet most fears never become reality. When fear appears, ask yourself a question: what is the worst realistic outcome? Then ask another question: could I survive it? Most of the time, the answer is yes. This realization weakens fear's grip. You begin to understand that you are stronger than your imagination. Allows you to believe. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the obstacle becomes the way. This idea contains profound wisdom. Most people see obstacles as interruptions. The Stoics saw obstacles as opportunities. Every obstacle teaches patience, courage, discipline, creativity, or perseverance. The challenge itself becomes the training ground for growth. Imagine two people facing the same setback. One complains endlessly and sees himself as unlucky. The other searches for lessons and opportunities. The event is identical, yet the outcome is completely different. Because their perspectives are different. Perspective has the power to transform experience. Your mind is constantly telling stories about reality. Some stories strengthen you. Others weaken you. If you tell yourself that every difficulty is proof that life is against you, you will feel defeated. If you tell yourself that every difficulty is an opportunity to grow, you will feel empowered. The event remains the same. The interpretation changes everything. Another important Stoic lesson involves silence. Not every opinion needs to be expressed. Not every argument needs to be won. Not every insult requires a response. Sometimes the strongest response is no response at all. Silence protects energy. Silence prevents unnecessary conflict. Silence allows wisdom to emerge where emotion once dominated. People often waste enormous amounts of energy trying to prove themselves to others. They seek validation from people whose opinions have little value. They chase recognition instead of excellence. The Stoics encourage the opposite approach. Focus on becoming excellent rather than appearing impressive. Appearance depends on others. Excellence depends on you, true self. Respect comes from knowing that your actions align with your values. It comes from keeping promises to yourself. It comes from acting with integrity when nobody is watching. External approval may feel good temporarily, but internal respect creates lasting confidence. Every day provides opportunities to practice Stoic principles. A delayed plan teaches patience. A disagreement teaches self-control. A failure teaches resilience. A temptation teaches discipline. A criticism teaches emotional strength. Life itself becomes a classroom for personal growth. The person who protects his mind understands that every experience can be used for improvement. Nothing is wasted. Every challenge becomes training. Every setback becomes education. Every disappointment becomes preparation for greater wisdom. There will be moments when life feels unfair, moments when your efforts seem unnoticed, moments when progress feels slow. During those times, remember that character is built in darkness, long before it is revealed in light. The strongest foundations are often invisible. Continue building them anyway. Your future is shaped not by occasional moments of motivation, but by daily habits. Small choices repeated consistently create extraordinary results. A disciplined mind is not built in a single day. It is built one thought, one action, and one decision at a time. The Stoics believed that every human being possesses the capacity for greatness, not necessarily greatness in fame or wealth, but greatness in character, the ability to remain calm under pressure, the ability to act with courage despite fear, the ability to remain kind despite cruelty, the ability to remain honest despite temptation. These qualities define true greatness. As you move through life, remember that the world will constantly offer reasons to become distracted, discouraged, angry, and afraid. Protecting your mind means refusing to surrender to those influences. It means choosing wisdom over impulse. It means choosing discipline over comfort. It means choosing growth over excuses. No one can give you inner peace. No one can hand you confidence. No one can create discipline for you. These qualities must be developed from within. The good news is that every day provides another opportunity to strengthen them. The Stoics left behind a timeless message. Your greatest power lies not in controlling the world around you, but in controlling the world within you. When your inner world becomes strong, the outer world loses much of its power to disturb you. You become steady when others panic. You become focused when others are distracted. You become resilient when others give up. Protect your mind because it is your greatest asset. Guard it carefully, train it daily, strengthen it consistently, and remember that the person who masters his own mind possesses a freedom that no circumstance, no criticism, and no obstacle can ever take away. That is the Stoic secret that is true power, and that is the path to a life that remains strong, meaningful, and free, regardless of what happens in the world around you.